5 Questions with LeRoy Butler. Now, here's Tom Silverstein.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to 5 Questions with LeRoy Butler. We're here following the Packers' 31-29 loss to the Minnesota Vikings, heading into Week 5 game against the Los Angeles Rams.
If you see me rubbing my face,
2-2, yeah.
You know what that means. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Well, you get down 28-0.
Yes.
Chances of you winning are not very good. They put on a little comeback at the end, but let's just start from where probably everyone wants to start. Is what did you think of Jordan Love?
Well, before I say that, I have to say these were the weeks that I would go and sit in Lee Rimmel office, and you can tell him who Lee Rimmel is.
Former Packers PR director.
I would go in his office and I would talk to him and Jeff Blum, and they're like, "What are you doing here?" Okay, what are Tom and Pete Doherty? What are they going to ask me? Because this is not good, and they would sum it up. And then I would go to Bob Harlan, who I think is the GOAT. I love him. I wanted to know what was the impact of losing a divisional game at home, or is every loss the same? And he's told me something I'll never forget. You're not going to go undefeated. It's how you lose and it's how you win. That made it easier for me to understand. Because when you're an elite player, rust equals excuse. Not practicing equals an excuse. Because if you're an elite player, I don't want to hear that. That's why if you listen to Jordan Love's press conference, that's why I love him and love his demeanor and love what he stands for, because he put it on himself. When the last time you seen a quarterback go to the podium and blame himself? It's always somebody else. Okay.
What are you talking about, New York or something?
No, I'm just, you're smart. If it's a bad call, it's a bad call because I missed, not because I got it in my head. Because I'm an elite player now, so I can take that. So I was expecting him to outplay Sam Darnold. That's what I be wanting every week. Outplay the quarterback.
Right.
Not based on the gaudy numbers at the end. No, in the game, Sam Darnold got very lucky, as you told me, because he could have threw a pick, but our linebackers don't work on the jugs. I can't talk because I dropped a lot of picks too, but Sam Darnold was under control, and when you jump out to 28-0, Jordan is thinking, I got to do it all by myself. I got to get all these points back. That's why he kind of threw up that one lollipop when he saw 22 coming off the edge. So I think he was pressing a little bit in the game, but he made some good throws. But he was off on the throw, last point, the throw that he's the best in the league at, on the run and the dig route. He's the best at it.
Yeah.
But it seemed like him in 13, who's one of my favorites, they couldn't get on the right page.
Yeah, they were not on the same
He had 13 targets.
Right.
I think Wicks is going to be
5 catches, though.
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
5 catches out of 13. Yeah, so 8 misses. A couple of drops, for sure.
One of them hit him right in the chest, could have been a touchdown.
What do you think?
I have a lot of faith in 13, though. I'm good.
In the opener, Love had a couple of passes that you normally expect him to put right on the money, threw them kind of in the dirt. Against the Eagles, and now he did it again here. Is there anything you saw from a defensive player standpoint of what's going on there? Or he just missing?
Well, the ball keeps going down.
Yeah,
the nose of the ball goes down. So to me, I could be wrong, but in therapy, you gotta tell the therapist everything so they can help you. The coaches gotta be in the meeting with him and with the little pointer. What were you thinking right here? Because you could see his feet maybe off the ground. He's past that page. That stage. Sometimes in your mind you have it already your mind made up where you want to throw it. Don't do that. And I would say this, Brian Flores was in their head. He was in Jordan's head. He was in Stinovich's head. He was in Matt LaFleur's head. Y'all know this system. Jordan Love dominated them up in Minneapolis when they tried to blitz him. But it seemed like he's guessing in his mind if they're going to drop out or come. And he's in the pocket, the clock goes off, run and slide. But when you stay and the clock goes out, then you got to force it.
Well, I don't think you want him running a lot.
Slide.
Not with that.
We got rules to protect him.
I know, but he's got the bad knee, and he's not really running as well as he should. You could see that.
Well, he needs to run.
I don't know. I mean,
run and slide.
I think
I don't want to take sacks, and I don't want pressure. Get out.
I think the circumstances of the game.
He didn't have a knee brace on.
The fact that they were 28. Yeah.
Oh, he did have a knee
some
brace?
sort of thing on there, a sleeve, but it had some padding or support or something on the left side.
I didn't see that.
Yeah,
okay.
All right. Show it to you on the.
No, I believe you. That makes sense. Yeah.
But what really affected him is you wouldn't have to deal with Flores doing all that stuff every single down if you weren't behind 28-0. I mean, you could at least run Josh Jacobs and establish the run, and and that's how they kind of beat him up in Minnesota. It was a nice balance. Remember, Aaron Jones had a pretty nice game up there.
Well, we'll stick to defense. We talked to Aaron Jones, but to your point, we got to be fair with Josh Jacobs. We gave him 9 carries.
Yeah.
Now I'll say this: if 31 is pushing for more snaps, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
We'll give him the ball too.
Yeah.
Because trust me, I love blitzing. The one thing that neutralized if you ran the ball.
Yeah.
If
you get a trap on there, and all of a sudden he's gone.
Yeah, but sometimes with the scoreboard, although you're down, you forget about running the football. You need to establish the run. Because you got a legitimate 2-headed monster. Well, how many total runs did they have? Like 18?
17. Well, 17 between the two backs.
Yeah, but it wasn't even 100 yards. So my thing is, the protection was there, but
there were some issues. LaFleur hinted, and I think it was regarding Josh Jacobs with pass protection. We'll show on one that he blew a pass protection that
was a scat.
Wound up being an interception. It was not a scat. He treated it like a scat. We'll explain what that means in X's and O's. Emmanuel Wilson is sticking his nose in there. You know, he one time he had to come over from the side and they did a stunt and he kind of let the guy get by. But I thought he really stuck his nose into the pass blocking. Either way, they took the running game out. I thought LaFleur could have run the ball a little more at the start of the third quarter when there were still.
Did anybody ask him that question? What was his thinking about running?
I think he just was. It's 28-0.
You're
we
right.
got to get back. But you never want Love throwing 52 times. Anytime a quarterback's throwing 52 times, you're losing. You know, it's never a good thing.
Most of the great quarterbacks in this league, they don't have very many games like that.
Yeah. I will say one thing though, if they wanted to get Love some action, they got him a lot of action. You know, he's back. You know, like I kept running arguments with people on my live chat.
Oh, you like doing that?
Oh yeah. and they're like, take him out. You know, like in the first quarter, he's hurt. He can't play.
Ain't nothing wrong with his arm. He just fell off.
You got to let a guy play through his injury. You know, he's like you said, rust is not an excuse, but you still have to play through.
Yes.
You know, all of that kind of stuff.
I'm not taking out because if you take him out, you rob him of doing what he did against the Saints.
Right.
When they were down 17-0.
And he almost did against the
He could have done it.
Right.
Well, if you had a kicker that can make 2 field goals, it's a different
another
ball.
Thing we'll talk about. Yeah.
So, but I'll say this though, and this is also what Bob Harlan used to talk to me about. It's 4 areas. You got to win 2. And I was like, okay, Bob, drill that down for me. He said, well, think about it. Offense, defense, special teams. And I didn't know what the other one was. He said, coaching. So if you're playing bad on defense, you're playing bad on special teams, and the offense playing bad, coaching, you got to bring the other 3 up or you're going to lose. You got to win 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
The problem was it was a perfect storm, and they lost all 4. Because I'm going to tell you something, that offensive, with that head coach, O'Connell.
Yeah.
O'Connell, masterful game plan.
Oh, he did have a good game plan.
Masterful.
I thought it was a really great.
And you have to
game
give
plan.
guys credit. You have to give guys, and him and Flores was chomping at the bit to play the Packers. When the Packers wanted to beat them, we got something. They got 2 of the oldest guys playing in the secondary, but you couldn't tell it.
Yeah.
And they were very active. They were leading the league in sacks, but they only sacked Jordan once.
Yeah.
But they were all over him at that time.
I thought, so O'Connell, he was like a shark, and when Jair Alexander was declared inactive, that was like blood in the water to him.
Yeah.
So he was gonna, if they were gonna play zone, he's gonna have Justin Jefferson running all those dig routes, and if they play man, he's gonna start running picks, and that's exactly what he did. He just reacted to.
I'm fine with that, but 18 is the one guy should never be wide open.
Yeah.
Because I knew they were going to get the ball to Jordan Addison. That was his first game back. And he only got a few catches, but it was a touchdown.
But they were huge.
And then he only had to reverse
around,
the touchdowns. I mean, that's 14 points. Whenever number 3 is in the game, he's like our 11. Jaden Reed.
Yeah.
Jaden Reed is special. I mean, I think he has the best feet in the NFL. But it's just, before we leave the offense, I thought the offensive line did okay.
They did. I thought they played really well because they didn't give up a lot of sacks.
Yeah,
there were a few open pressures, but for the most part, he didn't. I mean, he got hit, but I didn't think, it wasn't a sack fest or anything like that. No. But let's switch to defense because that's where the game was probably lost. Even though Love's 3 interceptions sure didn't help.
But we've already talked about the offense. That's still the defense.
I'm not going to pin this all on Hafley. I didn't like his first half strategy. Well, the strategy I understood. The lack of adjustment is what kind of surprised.
That's fair.
Was what I thought was a mistake. You don't have Jair Alexander. You don't have Carrington Valentine. You're playing with Corey Valentine and Eric Stokes and Nixon outside. You're starting him. I'd be terrified of that, of going against Addison, Jefferson. I'd send 4 and drop 7 too.
No. Here's where, as we are brothers, we can agree to disagree, but the parents love me more because I'm going to tell them the truth. I have a system. I'm running my system. I just got the system. If that's the case, Tom, they wouldn't have backups. It would be all starters. And when a guy's out, you forfeit the game. No, those same guys, even if they're not as talented, do your technique. I apologize. Your alignment, your assignment, your execution. 25 was on him. Turned the wrong way, touchdown. Looking in the backfield, touchdown. Tackling, stuff like that. Because who knows, you may get 3 starters out. I don't want people to think just because and I know I get your point. Okay. But I just wanted you to be fair with Hafley. The first half, even if he had Jair, he was going to just rush forward and wouldn't get no pressure.
Well, see, that would have been a mistake. If that were the case, I think he did it because he didn't have Jair and Valentine. Okay, so let's just say, on paper that's the right thing to do. But then because you believe in your front 4, you believe your front 4 can beat Minnesota's offensive line.
Because they're coming off an 8-sack game.
And they have before. Up in Minnesota, they've done it. But they weren't getting anything.
No.
Minnesota's offensive line dominated.
Yes.
It dominated them.
Yes.
That was really eye-opening. I don't know what happened.
But see, here's the thing. That me and Fritz, our coordinator, we used to have a wonderful relationship. He don't mind if my fastball ain't working, throw a curve.
Yeah.
The second half, had he had that, the second half,
Right.
that game, whatever he told me at halftime, we do that from the beginning. Sam Darnold is a guy on his fourth team. That's the guy you should be blitzing.
Yeah, he should be pressuring him.
Yeah, let him make these calls, but it's, okay, we're going to drop. But even when you drop, you still got guys wide open. You can't cover for 5 seconds.
But this is where I don't blame Hafley, because he has said we're going to rely a lot on our four-man rush. We got 4 guys. We can pressure the quarterback with 4 guys, and they didn't do it. So he gave them that chance to do it, and then he had to adjust. So I put some of it on the players. I know Minnesota chipped the edges, chipped the end guys, but they should have been winning some stuff inside. They should have been having some pressure inside.
I agree.
I mean, those guys, the top 6 pass rushers had no sacks, no quarterback hits.
But see, again, you can go, if your ship is going down, casino.
Yeah, I agree.
See, because I'm going to tell you the reason why people didn't give him credit for the second half gameplay. Oh, you just doing that because you ain't got nothing to lose. Run that when you got something to lose. You're down 28-7, 20. Yeah, everybody's going to blitz. And I don't want to see 56 active when you're down. I want to see 56 like that when it's close.
I agree.
So we got,
or when you realize that the first part of your game plan is not working.
Hey, coaches, the famous quote, Houston, we have a problem.
Yeah.
And you got to just, as a defense, because I thought I heard, real quick, aggressiveness when he first came over.
Yeah.
Because the guy you were replacing wasn't really a blitzer. He wasn't. So this was going to be, we're going after him. But then you said, we're going to just do 4. If you're going to do 4 guys, either you better have like an Aiden Hutchinson type, or these guys that make it match up bad.
They're supposed to. They got Rashawn Gary. They got Kenny Clark. They got Devontae Wyatt. These guys,
I get it.
Preston Smith, they should be getting after the quarterback.
Well, certain games you maybe have off.
Okay.
That's when you step up.
They were bested by the Vikings offensive line.
So we'll give the offensive line credit.
Kicked their butt for that game.
Yeah.
Now we'll see what happens. It happens. Yeah. I mean, the Packers beat the Detroit Lions offensive line on Thanksgiving last year, and that's where the best in the. So it happens.
It does happen.
But if it is happening, then you got to do something about it.
But see, okay, this is the last point. I should know an identity by now after 4 games.
After 4 games.
What we're going to do.
I think it takes a little longer than that.
Okay, and that's fair. But to me, when Fritz first came in, are you going to be like Ray Rhodes? Are you going to be like Hank Buller? I mean, sell me on something so I can have something to fall back on. So he took all the great plays.
Yeah.
And he developed this, me in the box, me coming from here.
Right,
then I'm
which
in the
was
middle.
Ray's thing. He brought that into his scheme. Right,
Yeah,
you have to be really flexible.
Yeah. So I just want them to be a little bit more aggressive because the Rams ain't got no wide receivers.
Yeah, and their offensive line isn't very good. So.
Even in my prediction, I struggle with this.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Well, we need to talk about one other thing, though, and that is the kicker. So it sounds like they're sticking with him. We'll see what happens through the week.
Said something to that.
Yeah. Is that the way you would go?
You got to make them in the 30s, 37 yards.
Well, these days, 40s, you got to make it.
Because
the
I'm
way
saying
the guys are hitting
65 yarders, at least trying it. If you don't have a kicker nowadays, you're at a disadvantage because his first field goal could have put out the fire.
Yeah.
It was a blaze. And then was the second one a 49-yarder?
Yeah.
And it was leaking to the right. But if you look at all his extra points, down the middle, because there's no pressure.
Right.
So my thing is, it's baked in the cake because Who's the young man they got on practice squad kicking?
Yeah, Alex
Hale?
Hale. Yeah.
I don't know if that's an option, but they just gotta hope Narvis is.
I think they have to create competition for him. I think they have to.
We're too late for competition, though.
Oh well.
You gotta just give a guy a job.
I think you can do it during the week. I think you can.
So what if that guy outkicks him during the week? Do you cut him and give
then
him
he's inactive, and you bring the guy up from the practice squad, which you can do. You can elevate him, and you can make Narveson inactive if he's not kicking well, and bring the other guys out kicking him. You could do it up to an hour and a half before the game. You could elevate him and then make one inactive. See how they're kicking, and then make one inactive and one active. So I think they got to do something.
They're gonna mess around and have to get a kicker first round.
Sometimes those guys, when they have competition, they compete. I mean,
you
they
have
kick better.
When there's 90,000 people at home.
Well, yeah, that's true too. Anyway, all right. Yeah. So this is an interesting game because the Rams, they have a lot of talent, but they're hurting at wide receiver. Cooper Kupp's not going to play this week. Puka's out.
He can't play.
They don't have much at wide receiver.
They just got Tutu Atwell. He's a little small, quick guy, but Matthew Stafford will throw you some picks. So if you're 29, who's leading the league, who has the range of any scope I've ever seen, this guy's. I'm shocked that 29 was even available at his age to just leave the Giants. Thank you to New York. Thank you for not tagging him. He is a blessing to have in that segment.
Yeah, the way the start that he's off to, he's good. He could be one of the best free agent signings they've had.
Oh yeah.
But we'll see how that goes.
Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Boy.
Good player. Yeah, they're gonna have to stop him.
Yes.
So anyway,
Matthew
let's
Stafford, though, he's hot and cold, and they've had success with the Rams. It's not one of these must-win games. It's a need-to-win game. So I think the Packers will win 28-17. Josh Jacobs is back on the West Coast. He's going to score 2 touchdowns, and he'll go over 100 because they are not stopping the run with the Rams. Swift had 90-something yards and a touchdown because the Bears just beat them, in Chicago. So they're a team that's struggling right now. But the Packers can't feel sorry for nobody at this point, so I think they'll win. The Packers will win 28-17.
Okay, good. Don't forget to join us for X's and O's. After this, we have a bunch of really good plays that you're going to want to watch.
Yes.
You have some people to thank?
Yes, I want to thank MilwaukeeWindowGuys.com. If you're looking for any windows and doors, just go there. And if some other company gave you a quote, just call them up or go on the website, MilwaukeeWindowGuys.com, and just say, can you beat this? Yes or no? And if they can, they'll be on their way to take good care of you. And anywhere you see a download podcast, do the Leap 36 podcast. And again, I have a new, we call it the LeRoy Butler experience. It's a combination of AI and me as, advertise, do a lot of things. It's a fun game too. So when you see that QR code, just click on it for more information. So I'm very excited about that.
Okay. Yeah, I want to see you in animation, that's for sure.
Yeah. It has a gold jacket on it too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I see you too often at Pick and Save, so on a sign.
That's true.
Anyway, we will join us next week after the Rams game. Take care, everyone.